And we're back for another exciting keywords and concepts video. So for this one, we're talking about keywords and concepts specifically within religion because of what we're doing this week. So the first word that we need to define today is the proper definition of the word myth. Now, for the most part, when we think myth, we think of a lie, right? We think, oh, that's a myth, it's untrue. That's not really the definition of myth. I have some colleagues in folklore who would be very upset by that definition. So let's learn the proper definition of myth. The proper definition of myth is a traditional story. That's it. A traditional story, especially one concerning the early history of a people or explaining some natural or social phenomenon, and typically involving supernatural beings or events, right? A myth is a story, guys. That's all it is. A myth is a story that tells us something about how something came to be. You can determine if it's true or false, but that's not really the benefit of a myth. The benefit of a myth is that it tells us a great deal about the cultures out of which they came, right? Specifically, we learn a great deal about these cultures through their creation myths. And these are the stories of the world and humanity's origins according to various cultures. So coming up this week, we're actually reading a number of creation myths, and there are some more in our documentary. So we're going to be comparing different creation myths throughout the world to kind of see what it's going to look like when these cultures clash, right? So now that we know the definition of the word myth, when I refer to Genesis as a creation myth, I do not want to get any angry emails, okay? I'm not saying it's untrue. I'm not saying any of those things. I am using this definition, that is the academic definition of myth, to discuss these things, okay? This is how we do this. When we're talking about myths and creation myths, we're not talking about false things. We're talking about very important cultural traditions. Okay? So I don't want anyone to be offended by anyone referring to anything as a creation myth or as a myth when it is in fact a myth. Okay? So this is the definition that we're going to be using for this unit and for the rest of the term, actually, when referring specifically to myths. So I just want everybody to be clear here so that I don't get the angry emails. So hopefully we're all on the same page, and I'll see you guys in the next keywords video.